You are sitting at your kitchen table on a Tuesday morning eating cereal you don't like because it was on sale, and you forgot to put the good kind on the list. The apartment is quiet the way cheap apartments always are. Not peaceful, just thin-walled, and your neighbors haven't started fighting yet. You are 23 years old. You have $214 in your checking account, a part-time job at a pet supply store that smells like cedar shavings and anxiety, and an Instagram account with 847 followers, most of whom are people you went to high school with, who check in on you the way people check on a car accident, not because they care, but because they cannot look away. You are not famous. You are not interesting. You are Kylie Jenner, and the only thing about your life that anyone would describe as remarkable is that it is almost aggressively unremarkable. Then your phone buzzes. Not once, not twice. It does not stop. You pick it up expecting a group chat notification or a coupon from the pizza place on 5th, and instead you see that someone has tagged you in a video. Then 12 people have, then 40. You open the tag and your stomach drops before your brain has had time to explain why. The video is 37 seconds long. It was filmed 3 days ago at a house party you attended because your coworker said it would be fun and you had nothing better to do. In the video, you are laughing at something someone off camera said. You look relaxed, which is unusual for you, and the lighting is which is even more unusual. You are holding a red cup and someone behind you is wearing a shirt with a logo on it, and that logo belongs to a political candidate who is currently in the middle of a controversy that has nothing to do with you. And it does not matter that you didn't notice the shirt, and it does not matter that you were not endorsing anything, and it does not matter that you have never once expressed a political opinion in public because you are 23 and tired, and you barely have the energy to have opinions about your own life. None of that matters. What matters is that the video has 40,000 views by the time you finish your cereal, and by the time you get to work, it has 200,000. And by the time your lunch break arrives, it has passed 1 million. And your phone is so full of notifications that it is functionally useless as a communication device. This is how it begins, not with a choice, not with ambition, not with a plan or a dream or a carefully constructed personal brand. It begins with a 37-second video and a logo you never even saw, and a Tuesday that was supposed to be the same as every other Tuesday. You did not ask to be here. You are here anyway. The comments divide themselves almost immediately into two camps, and they are both wrong about you in completely different ways. One half is convinced you are a secret operative for something, a plant, a puppet, a symbol, a sleeper agent of ideology woken by the party's frequency. The other half is convinced you are a victim, a naive girl weaponized without her knowledge, a cautionary tale about the dangers of public spaces in a surveillance age. You are neither. You are a person who went to a party. But the internet does not have a category for that, and so you are sorted, filed, and argued about with confidence that should terrify you, but mostly just exhaust you. You do not post anything that first day. This is the correct decision, though you don't know it yet. You make it not out of strategy, but out of paralysis, which accidentally saves you because anything you might have said, any clarification, any defense, any attempt to explain that you didn't notice a shirt at a party, would have been fed into the machine and turned into more content. Silence is the only move that does not give them more material, and you stumble into it by accident. By Wednesday, your employer calls you into the back office. He is a man who has spent 30 years selling dog food, and he is visibly unhappy to be having this conversation. He says the store has been getting calls. He says customers are upset, though he cannot fully articulate what they are upset about or why it would be his problem. He says maybe you should take some time off. You understand that this means you no longer have a job, but he will not say that directly, because saying it directly would require him to engage with the situation on a level he has decided is above his pay grade. You take your apron off and you walk out, and you sit in your car for 22 minutes doing nothing, and then you drive home. By Thursday there are articles, not news articles. Exactly. The outlets that pick up the story are the kind that have been engineered to produce content at volume rather than quality. But they have audiences, and those audiences have shares, and the shares have reach. And by Friday morning there are two separate Reddit threads arguing about who you are as a person based on available evidence, which is to say, based on a 37-second video and approximately nothing else. Someone finds your high school yearbook photo. Someone finds a comment you left on a friend's post in 2019. Someone contacts your high school and asks a teacher who apparently knew you whether you were always like this, and the teacher says you were a quiet student who did well in English, which the poster interprets as sinister, as though quiet children who are good at reading grow up to be something other than people who are quiet and good at reading. You are watching yourself become a story. This is the specific horror of your situation, not that people are saying things about you, which is bad enough, but that you can watch it happening in real time, in granular detail, and you have no mechanism by which to intervene. You are not a participant in this narrative. You are its subject, which is a fundamentally different thing. Participants have agency. Subjects do not. A week after the video, you receive a direct message from a woman named Sarah who describes herself as a social media strategist and who says she has helped several people in situations like yours. She uses the word situation the way doctors use the word condition, clinically, without judgment, which somehow makes it worse. She says your story has legs. She says if you approach it correctly, you could turn this into something. You know what she means by something. You have seen it before. The alchemy by which ordinary humiliation becomes a platform. The process by which a stops a person and becomes a presence, a handle, a content vertical. You do not respond to Sarah that day, but you think about her message for 72 hours straight, which tells you something about the state of your options. You have no job. You have $214, then $186, then $142 as the week progresses, and the world continues to require things from you that cost money. Your apartment lease renews in 6 weeks. You have a student loan payment due in 11 days that you cannot make. Your mother calls, and you let it go to voicemail because you do not have the vocabulary to explain to her what is happening. And because she will try to help in ways that will not help, and because the conversation will require you to be reassuring about your own crisis, which is a tax you cannot currently afford. You are not in danger. You want to be clear about that, at least to yourself. You are not in physical danger. You are not starving. You are not at rock bottom in any of the ways that rock bottom usually gets defined. But you are standing at the edge of something, and the ground behind you is narrowing, and you are running out of time to decide which direction to step. You respond to Sarah on a Thursday night. You say you are interested in talking. She responds within 4 minutes, which tells you she has been waiting. You are not sure if this is reassuring or not. You decide it doesn't matter. Sarah explains the strategy with the efficiency of someone who has given this speech before. You are not the villain in this story, she says. You never were. But the internet needs a narrative, and right now you are either the villain or the victim, and being the victim is survivable. Being the victim is actually useful. Being the victim is content. She says the word content the way other people say the word opportunity. She wants you to post, not an explanation, not a defense, a moment of vulnerability, something real, something that reminds people that you are a human being rather than a symbol. People respond to humanness, she says. People will forgive you for being human. You want to ask what you need to be forgiven for. You don't. Your first post is 48 words. You write it yourself, and Sarah edits it into something softer, something more syntactically arranged for the specific kind of empathy that social media generates. You read her version and recognize your words inside it, the way you would recognize a song after someone has changed every instrument. The structure is yours, but it sounds like something else now. You post it anyway because you do not have a better option and because the alternative is continuing to be a story other people are writing about you. The response is immediate and overwhelming and divided because, of course, it is. Because nothing on the internet resolves into consensus. Because the people who hated you continue to hate you, and the people who felt sorry for you now feel sorrier. And these two forces produce a new cycle of engagement that Sarah describes with what sounds like genuine satisfaction as excellent. Your follower count climbs, not slowly, overnight and then the next night and then steadily after that, the way a tide comes in. You don't see the individual waves doing the work. You just look up and find yourself deeper in water than you expected. 3 months later, you have 200,000 followers and a brand partnership offer for a company that makes a kind of fiber supplement that you have never tried and would not normally endorse. Sarah explains that this is how it works in the beginning. You take the partnerships that make financial sense and you use the money to build leverage for the partnerships you actually want later. You ask what partnerships you actually want later, and she says that's up to you, which is the first time anyone in this process has said that, and it does not feel liberating. It feels like being handed a map with half the roads missing. You take the fiber supplement deal. You make your loan payment. You make 3 more. You buy a different kind of sea cereal. The thing nobody explains to you about having an audience is how loud silence becomes. Before the video, you could move through your days unobserved, which you had always experienced as loneliness, but which you now understand was actually privacy, which is a completely different thing that you did not appreciate until it was gone. Now, every day you are not posting is a day the algorithm penalizes you, a day the follower count stalls or ticks down, a day Sarah sends you a message asking if everything is okay. You are not a person with an audience, you are a service provider, and your product is the continuous visible evidence of your own existence. You develop routines not because they make you happy, but because they are postable. You start going to a coffee shop not because you particularly like coffee, but because the window light is good, and the cup photographs cleanly, and the aesthetic of the place matches the version of yourself you are building, which is soft and slightly melancholic and relatable in a way that performs well with your demographic, which Sarah describes as women 22 to 34 who feel slightly behind on their own lives. You are in your own demographic. This is either poetic or depressing, and you have not decided which. You do not lie exactly. This is the thing you hold on to, the line you work hard not to cross. The coffee shop is real. The coffee is real. You are really sitting there, really thinking the things you claim to be thinking. But the fact that it is real does not make it unperformed. And the fact that it is unperformed does not make it real. And you spend a significant amount of time circling this contradiction in your head without resolving it because it cannot be resolved. It is the load-bearing contradiction of your entire current existence. 6 months in, a larger controversy erupts, not about you, but adjacent to you, involving an influencer you were photographed with at an event. She has said something. People want to know where you stand. Sarah advises you to wait to see which way the wind settles before you commit, which is the politically intelligent position and also the coward's position. And you are sophisticated enough now to understand that these are sometimes the same as sitting. You wait. You watch. You post nothing. The influencer apologizes. Her followers split. The ones who leave her have to go somewhere, and some fraction of them arrive at your door, and your count goes up by 11,000 in a week. You did not do anything wrong. You are also uncomfortable about how this works. By the end of the first year, you have 500,000 followers, a manager in addition to Sarah, a list of partnerships that includes things you actually use or at least don't actively dislike, and enough money to have moved into a better apartment, which has thicker walls and better light, but which feels lonelier somehow. Maybe because you have more space to notice the loneliness in. You have also developed a specific kind of vigilance that you did not have before. A constant, low-grade monitoring of the cultural temperature. A habit of scanning every situation for how it might look rather than how it feels. A reflex that processes the present moment as potential content before you have had time to simply experience it. You are not sure when this happened. You are not sure you can reverse it. People who are not you sometimes describe your life as aspirational. You encounter this word in comments and in the occasional article that treats your trajectory as a success story. Girl goes viral. Girl turns chaos into career. Girl makes it work. The word aspirational refers to the apartment and the light and the coffee and the soft focus life you have constructed and broadcast, and you understand why it lands that way. Because the broadcast is designed to land that way, but there is a gap between the signal and the experience of sending it that the word aspirational cannot account for. You are not unhappy, exactly. But you are also not the person in your own posts, Or rather, you are only the parts of that person that you have decided to show, which means there are large portions of yourself that exist without an audience, which should be a relief and is instead disorienting, because you have now lived long enough inside the performance that the backstage feels strange and poorly lit. There are things you do not post. The nights you spend watching nothing on a streaming service because the alternative is being alone with your thoughts, and your thoughts lately have an edge to them. The calls with your mother where she asks if you are really okay, and you say yes because you don't know how to say not exactly without collapsing the conversation into something neither of you is equipped to hold. The specific feeling of reading a comment from someone who is certain they know you, certain they love you, certain they hate you, and knowing that both of them are responding to a construction and not a person, and that you are the one who built it, and that you are standing inside it now, and the door is not locked, but you no longer know quite where it is. You are not famous in the way that famous used to mean. You are not a celebrity or an actor or a musician or a public figure in any of the categories that used to generate public recognition. You are something newer and harder to name. A person who is known at scale for the performance of being themselves, which requires being yourself and not being yourself simultaneously and continuously, which is a job description that would be difficult to explain to someone who has not done it. You are Kylie Jenner with 500,000 people watching, and Kylie Jenner did not ask for any of this, and Kylie Jenner has also, somewhere along the way, made choices that kept it going. And the relationship between those two things, the thing that happened to you and the thing you have chosen to continue, is not something Sarah has ever helped you untangle, because Sarah does not get paid to help you untangle it. Your phone buzzes. It does not stop. You pick it up and you look at the notification, and you begin, as you do every day now, the calculus of what to do with it. Every incoming signal is a decision. Every decision compounds. Every compounded decision is the architecture of a self you are building in public, in real time, in front of people who will not remember you the way you remember yourself. You are sitting at a better table now. The cereal is better. The light is better. The walls are thicker. And somewhere underneath all of it, quiet and persistent as a current you cannot see from the surface, it's the question you have not yet answered and are not sure you are ready to ask. Whether the person you have become is something you would have chosen if the choice had ever really been yours to make. You are still deciding. The comments keep coming. You have not posted today yet, and Sarah will notice, and the algorithm will notice, and 200 of your newest followers will quietly drift away before morning. And this, you have learned, is simply the cost of existing in the way you now exist. A continuous, invisible tax on the parts of yourself you have not yet made content of. You are 24 years old. You are tired in a way that does not respond to sleep. You are watched in a way that does not feel like being seen. You open the app. You begin to type. Outside your window, the city moves the way it always has, indifferent and enormous. And nobody in it knows what you look like without the good lighting.